Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 263. I'm thinking of ending things. The name of the movie, and the thought I'm having about this podcast. My name is Eric.
My name is Joe. Hello, Eric. It sounds like we should have had a conversation before we started recording.
We did.
Oh yeah, I guess we did, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
How are you, Joe?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. How about you?
Similar.
All right.
Yep. It is a time.
Yes, it's a time. Yeah, that's it.
Things are happening, and we are moving forward.
That's all we can do.
Yep.
Unless we can move backwards.
Oh, I wish that we could sometimes.
Me too.
Yep.
Oh.
Boy, this movie.
This movie. How many times did you watch this movie?
Just the once.
Just the once, okay.
Yeah, you?
Well, this was the second time that I had seen it.
Okay.
But I didn't really remember much about it from the first time.
Gotcha.
Because it was we watched it while Jenny was in the hospital recovering from surgery. So there were a lot of distractions, and it's not really a movie that you probably want to watch with a ton of distractions.
No, I would say not. I felt very lucky in that I did not have any distractions while watching the movie, other than my own restlessness.
Sure. Yeah. I had that as well.
Yeah. The cat though climbed on my lap and slept with me for most of the movie.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So he was not doing his usual bullshit asshole things that he usually does when I try to watch a movie. I think he knew that it would be a perplexing journey to go through.
Right.
And behaved himself accordingly.
Well, he probably heard you say, I'm thinking of ending things, and was like, oh no, I better be on my best behavior so he doesn't get rid of me.
Oh, that's not the way I would end things.
No, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, nope.
I meant between you and the cat.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, technically, the way that I would be thinking of ending things would be the end between me and the cat, but in a far different manner.
Good Lord. Oh, boy.
To be perfectly clear, the cat would not be harmed in this scenario.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Moving right along. I'm thinking of ending things.
You too?
I was actually just saying the name of the movie.
Oh, okay.
This movie.
This movie. I watched it when I got home today. So it has been about an hour and a half since I last had eyes on it.
Okay.
I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to say or talk about.
All right.
And this is the one time that I wish this was a video podcast so that I could just give you the expression that I had on my face while watching this movie. to perfectly sum up, I guess, what I feel about this movie.
Did you hate it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Joe, if there was a hook to what our podcast is that makes us different from other two white guys talking about movie podcasts, I would say it's that I'm the dumb one, and you are the one with insight.
Okay.
So,
oh
Joe,
no. Oh no.
Please tell me what the fuck this movie was.
Alright, I did actually, like I said, I've seen it twice, and I watched it yesterday, and then did some reading about it, because I needed help. Like, I had an idea in my mind, and the idea that I had in my mind was not quite exactly what it was, but it was pretty close, I think. It still doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. But the idea that I had in my mind is that, this movie, so the movie follows a couple who are going, a fairly new couple, who are going to visit it's a straight couple, I should say, who are going to visit the man Jake's parents, just to have dinner, and they're driving through a snowstorm to get there, and so it follows them in the car on the way there, and then them at dinner, and then them on the way home, and that's basically the movie.
Yes.
But there are also scenes interspersed of an older man who's a janitor in a high school, just sort of going about his day.
Yes.
And so
I should say I got all this part.
You got all that stuff. Okay. I mean, I am just stating plain facts of what appears on the screen. There's weird shit that goes on.
Oh yeah.
But I'm laying out the baseline.
All right.
Of what I think the movie is.
Okay.
So we're given sort of hints that that there's sort of the lines between Jake and the woman whose name changes throughout.
Yes.
That the lines between them are sort of blurred. And also that the lines between Jake and the older janitor are somewhat blurred. Like when she goes and finds the janitorial uniform in the washer at his parents' house. So my understanding, the way that I interpret this movie is that there's only the one character, and it's the janitor. All of the other action that we see is happening in his mind, whether it's memories or just invention whole cloth of things that he that did happen to him or that he wished had happened to him. So Jake, Jesse Plemons, is the younger version of the janitor, but also all of the other characters are sort of, within his memory, within his mind as well. And it's all just in his head. And then he dies at the end.
Okay, so I feel like I essentially got the same thing.
Okay.
So early in the movie when they're driving, Jake and the woman, and he turns on the radio and it's a song from Oklahoma.
Right.
And then it shows the high school musical, rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's when I'm like, okay, they're the same guy.
Yeah.
Him and the woman being the same was not within my grasp.
It's weird.
I mean, the whole movie is weird.
The whole movie is real fucking weird. Yeah.
And because there is the scene in the house where she's looking at a photo, and it's her as a little girl, and he says that it's him as a little boy. And I just, to me, that was just like, that's weird. What's going on?
Yeah, there is definitely stuff that I feel like doesn't fit with the way that I understand the movie, and even from the reading that I did, the way that it's sort of explained, because this is based on a book,
right?
And the book, I guess, makes it much clearer towards the end that she is him, they are the same person. The relationship with the janitor, at least just based on what I read on Wikipedia, I haven't read the book itself, so I can't say definitively. Right. But it sounds like it's still sort of, I mean, it's less explicitly stated, but that they are all sort of figments of his imagination.
Okay.
But yeah, like that part when she sees the picture, the phone calls that she gets. Mm-hmm. She gets a couple phone calls and she answers, and it's just like this mysterious man's voice saying David Lynchian things to her about there's one question to answer.
Yeah.
But it's never like, what is this? What is happening here?
So despite the fact that, I guess I figured out that the janitor and he were the same.
Yeah.
But at the time when that clicked for me, I was assuming that there was like, a time jump kind of thing.
Sure.
But it's, it that proves to be false. Because it all seems to be happening at the same time, because it is,
right.
At least revealed? Question mark? That it's, a sort of dying fever dream that he's having.
Yeah, because he meets them, or he meets the woman anyway.
Right. But for me, when I knew that things were weird, and it was, I mean, honestly, I should have rewound a shit ton of times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But I only did it once, and it was right when they meet the parents, played by David Thewlis and Toni Collette. And when we first see David Thewlis, he has like thinning gray hair. And then like in the immediate scene after that, he's got just like short cropped dark hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, what? And so I rewound, and I was like, okay, I did not make that up. And so I was like, okay, so this, like, so going into this, the only thing I knew about this movie was that it's a Charlie Kaufman movie.
Right.
I knew nothing about the plot whatsoever outside of just what was on the, Netflix description blurb. And I guess I should have been more prepared for it to be a Charlie Kaufman movie. But I was not.
Yeah, this is one of the Charlie Kaufman-iest.
It is very Charlie Kaufman-y.
Yeah, the thing you mentioned about the father's hair, I definitely did not notice that.
Okay.
I noticed that her outfit changed.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, the bigger, age changes that the parents go through over the course of that sequence.
Right.
Back and forth between old age and youth. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of more subtle stuff, like just his hair changed a little bit. That I totally missed. And would be kind of interested to go back and see again.
Right.
But also, this movie is really long.
It is.
I wish it was half an hour shorter.
I do too.
I think if it was half an hour shorter, I would absolutely love it.
There are sequences, mostly the 2 car ride sequences.
Yes.
That there are just a lot of conversations between the 2 of them that I zoned out.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if they are integral to the story, because it is just a lot of mostly philosophical hoo-ha. Which just, to me, reads as Charlie Kaufman grabbing the viewer by the collar and screaming in their face, "Look how fucking smart I am." And I don't know if, those scenes are in the book, as they are, but just as far as watching this movie, a lot of that seemed unnecessary.
Yeah. So I think those scenes are somewhat integral to, but they're integral to figuring out the movie, but also, yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So they're talking about the movie A Woman Under the Influence.
Mm-hmm.
And the sort of diatribe that the woman goes on, the the woman in the car, not the woman under the influence, is verbatim Pauline Kael's review of that movie.
Okay, so I did. It clearly is just her reading someone's review. I did not know exactly what it was, and now that you mentioned that, it clicks for me, because when we do see young Jake's room, or Jake's childhood bedroom, whatever the label was,
yes,
the one thing that I did notice in that was the big ass Pauline Kael book,
right,
that is on his shelf.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
makes sense.
And even it looked like he had a headshot of Betty Davis, taped up on the wall, and he makes reference to Betty Davis in the car earlier.
Yes.
I guess that there is a DVD copy of A Beautiful Mind visible in his bedroom, which I did not notice.
I did not notice that either. I did see that it was in the credits.
Yes, yeah. The speech that he gives when he accepts his Nobel Prize is the exact speech that Russell Crowe gives as John Nash at the end of A Beautiful Mind.
Okay, did not know that either.
Which that was I distinctly remember that from watching it in the hospital. Because I was this movie, the movie had been nonsense up until that point. I didn't know what was going on. And then he gave a recognizable speech, probably the sort of treacliest speech that you could think of from an Oscar-winning movie. And that was when I was like, okay, this movie is actually brilliant.
Let's see. I mean, I've seen A Beautiful Mind, but it has been, whenever it came out on video.
Right.
So there's no way in hell I would remember. I mean, I barely remember what I did earlier today. I have life before I'm thinking of ending things and after I'm thinking of ending things.
I could not tell you why I remember that speech. But I think it was when he said something about like the mysterious equations of love. Because it's like, it's so bad. And also completely fictionalized. That never happens.
Right.
So yeah, like the going back to the stuff in the car, like the Pauline Kael review,
right.
the poem that she wrote, which was actually written by someone else,
right?
But that she recites all of, and I really like that poem. And I'm not a poetry guy.
She picks up the book in the room when
yes.
she Did you catch what book it was, or
I didn't. I caught the author's name, and I had looked up the poem earlier because I was like, this has got to be a real poem. So yeah, I think that like the stuff like that is, I say it's integral to figuring it out, because it's just like, this is all like stuff and media that he's absorbed. Right. Over the course of his life, not to mention the Oklahoma of it all, because there is so much Oklahoma in this movie. Like the song that they listen to in the car obviously is bleeding through from the rehearsal.
Right.
The dance sequence is reminiscent of a dream sequence in Oklahoma, where the main characters are replaced by dancers who look sort of vaguely like them. The logic being that, in your dreams, things are not exactly as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, these people look like you, but they're not exactly you. And so that whole sequence mirrors this dream sequence from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then
it's a musical, so clearly not familiar.
Not familiar, right? And then, then you're definitely not going to get after the Beautiful Mind speech.
Right.
The song that he sings is the song that the quote unquote villain of Oklahoma sings. Basically, since you're not familiar with Oklahoma, it's basically about. There's Curly, who's the male hero, who's a cowboy. There's Lori, who's like a rancher's daughter, and then there's Judd, who is in love with Lori, totally unrequited, and the obstacle for Curly to overcome so that he can be with Lori, basically. And Judd's whole thing is that he lives in like this tiny little shack, and he's lonely, and he just wants to be with Lori. And so that's sort of what that song that he sings after accepting his Nobel Prize is all about.
All right.
And what I think it goes towards, what I read, I didn't really get it from watching the movie, but I guess there are hints towards it. But the woman never actually dated him. Like, this is all just like he never actually got her number or gave him her number or whatever.
Right.
He's just fantasized this relationship, or this combination of different people that he wanted to have relationships with and never did.
Right.
It's that part I'm still super unclear about. But yeah, there's just other media bleeding into and out of this movie all over the place.
Yeah. The when she first meets the janitor, when she goes into the high school looking for Jake, like the conversation, like, I mean, it's pretty one-sided, but the monologue that she basically has, I think she does make that pretty clear.
Okay.
That at least I got that much, that she still not putting together that they're all the same person.
Sure.
But just still me trying to decipher the movie as like these are two separate people.
Yeah.
And like she's the one having the hallucinations and the weirdness, whatever.
Right.
But she does mention that she pretty much explicitly states that like they never even talked.
Yeah.
And it did make me remember that during the dinner scene with the parents, that among the many different story changes that happen throughout, just whenever like bits of their backstory are revealed, it's always a little different. She does sort of change, like even in the one conversation, like how they met.
Yeah.
Which is questioned by the father. But yeah, like it there are hints for sure, but yeah, it's never explicitly stated, but I feel like that was at least pretty strongly hinted at.
Yeah. I feel like I talked a lot.
You did, and I appreciate it.
Oh, man. We didn't even get to the cartoon pig yet, or to shit, what was the name of the ice cream place? Tulsi Town.
Tulsi Town, yep. I will say that I really loved the animated ad for Tulsi Town.
That was amazing.
I don't think I've laughed harder than when they intercut the scene of the janitor watching the movie on his lunch break.
Yes.
And then it's like we watch him watch the movie, and then it actually cuts to the movie that he's watching. And then, like, at the end of it, it just says, directed by Robert Zemeckis. I had to pause because I laughed so much at it.
It's startling.
Oh, I wonder if he approved that.
I read that that they came up with it first. Like, so one of the assistants was just like, no, it would be really funny if it was directed by Robert Zemeckis. And then I guess they did like run it by him, and he got a special thanks in the credits.
I can say that was the one true moment of enjoyment that I had during this movie, in which I was just not staring at my TV, just fucking perplexed. That's it. I did really like the scene when they go to Tulsi Town.
The Tulsi Town scene is excellent.
It was just... I'm going to say this before you do on this episode. This movie was stressful.
Yes, it was. I agree. I feel like the Tulsi Town scene of the many David Lynchian sequences, I feel like that might be the most David Lynchian.
Yes, I would agree entirely. I mean, the Nobel Prize scene comes really close.
Yes.
Which, I mean, if I had known that was the speech from A Beautiful Mind, it probably would have ratcheted it up for me. But I was really mostly just focused on the shitty old age makeup that everybody was wearing.
It's so good. It's so funny. Because it's like, it's stage old age makeup, so it has to be super over the top.
Yep.
Oh, I love that so much.
and it just makes everybody look like zombies.
Yeah.
And it kept reminding me, a couple years ago, I was dating a girl, and she was in a local play.
Oh, boy.
And, it was Our Town.
Okay.
And I went to go see it, in support. And that is a terrible fucking play. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
I have not, no. I've only seen the X-Files episode that's named Our Town, but I haven't seen the actual play itself.
Oh, it is god-awful. But it kept making me think of that because, there are a lot of, it's a community play, so while they did have some, varying cast members of different ages, there are a lot of young people playing old in the play.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they all have like the caked on, gray makeup and, powdered, hair. It just kept making me think of that.
That's awesome. And you're a good boyfriend for going to see that.
She literally only had like one scene in it. So.
Okay.
And it's a long ass play. I definitely fell asleep a couple times while watching the play.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I would truly really like this movie if it was shorter.
Yeah.
Not even, I talked about the driving scenes. Like, the first, going to the house scene. Like, I could not figure out if the girl, I think her name is Jessie Buckley, the actress.
Yes, yeah.
I could not figure out, is she terrible in this?
I think...
I've seen Jesse Plemons in plenty of things.
Yes.
And he's usually pretty stellar. But I cannot think of anything that I've ever seen her in, and I looked her up on IMDb, and I maybe have seen one thing that she was in, but I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
But like when they get to the parents' house, like that entire thing, I think she's great in any scene that she's not with Jesse Plemons in.
There's not that many of those.
No, there are not. But like every scene with the parents, like as stressful and uncomfortable and awkward as they are, just making me anxious. She's great playing off of them, but the one-on-ones with Jesse Plemons, I don't know. Like it's got to be a choice she's making at some point there.
I feel like it probably is. Like she's uncomfortable with him, and that's coming through in the viewing of those scenes. I also wonder too because I think she's Scottish
or
Irish.
I think
Irish, yeah. So I wonder if maybe that's part of like she's doing an American accent. So I wonder if that's impacting her performance.
Maybe. I mean, like, her accent didn't come through at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't notice at all.
And I did think it was slightly strange. David Thewlis, well, when he first shows up, I feel like he's trying to put on an affectation, but then, like, at the dinner scene, like, he's just speaking in his normal voice.
Right.
So that threw me off. And then it also just made me keep thinking, well, why doesn't Toni Collette ever just use her real voice?
It was just a couple months ago that I learned that Toni Collette is Australian.
Yep.
I had no idea.
I learned today that she was Australian, but I knew she wasn't American.
Okay.
So I know that she's got an accent. I just have never heard it.
I think we watched Muriel's Wedding.
Okay.
And she's using her regular voice in that, as far as I know.
Right. I mean, yeah, it could be a Hugo Weaving situation.
Right. Or a Tom Hardy situation. All these liars.
That's why I want to say thank you to David Thewlis for just doing your voice.
Right. He's so good.
He really is, yeah.
I think everyone in this movie is really excellent. Even if I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah. Like I said, I had issues with Jessie Buckley at the beginning of the movie. Like I said, just like in her one-on-one scenes in the car. Like, I thought she was bad. But every other scene, I thought she was great. So again, clearly she's made some sort of choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to heighten the Charlie Kaufman manner of things. I don't know.
The Charlie Kaufman of it all.
Yes. It also really threw me at the beginning when the movie started, and it is just a 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah. Well, that was to maintain the director's artistic vision. I understand.
Well, this was, of course, an IMAX movie.
Right.
Because you want to see this as big as humanly possible.
Right. I mean, how else are you going to pick up all those little details in Jake's childhood bedroom, like the A Beautiful Mind DVD?
Right? Or, read the titles.
Yeah, that's true. The titles are very small.
Yes, they were. I just got new glasses, and I still had to squint to see what the hell anything said.
They're very small, and then during the end credits, it's like white text on a very lightly colored background.
It's, snowy and blurred.
Yeah, so it's a little hard to read.
Yeah. I will say congratulations to Charlie Kaufman for figuring out a workaround from getting Netflix to just pop up the, hey, you watch this, recommend this. So good on him for
that's true. That
Netflix
was nice. It's a movie you really sort of need to sit with for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So that was very nice.
I say, again, I finished this movie at like 7. It is now 9:00. I still think it may have been too early to talk about this movie.
Should we do this again next week?
No.
Okay.
This is definitely an interesting movie. And it's real fucking weird, and that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of under what other circumstances I would watch it again. There are some movies that I like to just have on while I'm doing other stuff.
Sure.
And I don't see this being one of those.
No.
Like maybe if I split it up into like halves or something, that would work.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Because my mind definitely did start to wander during the second car ride.
Yeah. Like I guess if you've seen a Charlie Kaufman movie, you, I guess, sort of are primed for what you're getting into.
Yeah.
If you like Charlie Kaufman, you'll probably like this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely an experience. I mean...
Yeah, that's the best way. I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing else. My brain is broken for the evening.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely good parts, but boy, it's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, anything good going on for you this week?
I got new glasses.
That's awesome. Did you get bifocals?
I did.
Yay!
And I'm while I am putting this out there as the thing that's bringing me joy this week, I am also struggling with it.
Yeah.
It has been a journey to get used to these things. Like there were times where I just don't feel like they're sitting right. I just cannot get used to the two different lenses, and they're not the kind with the line. So like the invisible bifocal or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
And it's really thrown me off sometimes. Like while watching the movie, and of course, the old man uses subtitles,
Right.
Which this is a movie I definitely recommend subtitles for.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of scenes where there are people who are just talking very quietly or off screen and with like weird vocal effects happening. And boy, that was helpful.
Yeah.
But like I leaned back in my recliner and I was looking at the TV through my bottom lenses, which are the up close reading ones, which then made everything on the TV blurry, and so I had to figure out how to adjust my glasses so that I could watch while reclined. But on the other hand, I've also been able to read without putting on a second pair of glasses over my glasses, and that has been pretty nice.
That's awesome.
So I think once the birthing pains of becoming an old man are once I become more comfortable with them, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
I've got a couple of comics this week that I really enjoyed.
Such as
the first one came out last week. It's a Vault Comics series.
Ooh.
It's called The Blue Flame.
Okay.
And
heard of
it's Christopher Cantwell is the writer.
Okay.
And trying to think of the artist's name, but it is escaping me right now. Adam Gorham, maybe?
That sounds like a person who does things.
Yeah.
That's a name I've seen. So
okay.
Yeah.
The first issue of that came out last week, and I didn't know what to expect from it, but it was really excellent. It's about a sort of spacefaring superhero. He sort of starts off as this like local hero. And then ends up, journeying out into space and encountering alien civilizations, and it's really interesting, really interestingly told. And yeah, it's very, very good. I don't want to say too much, partly because I don't want to spoil it, and partly because it's still pretty early in the series, so I don't know exactly what it's going to be about at this point.
Sure.
But it reminds me of there's the Strange Adventures series that's coming out from Tom King and Mitch Gerrits and Evan Shaner.
Sure.
And that book hasn't really clicked for me the way that I would have liked it to. But the Blue Flame feels like it's going to scratch that itch really well.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so the Blue Flame I definitely recommend. And then the one that came out this week is the first issue of The Nice House on the Lake.
Okay, I've heard of that.
By James Tynion IV and
is it
crap.
Tynion or Tinian?
Oh, it is Tynion, I think. You're right.
Okay.
And crud. The artist's name he has three names. And it completely escapes me right now. but I know. I'm sorry. I'm a bad person. Artist cred. I'm all about it, except for my brain is bad and I have a bad memory. But yeah, the first issue of that came out this week, and it kind of blew me away. It's super
nice.
good.
Yeah.
It's a horror series. Horror sci-fi series, I guess.
Okay.
And it's just, yeah. I also don't want to say too much about that because I went into that pretty much completely blind, and loved the experience of reading that book. So,
nice.
So yeah, Two single issue comics worth checking out.
I definitely will check them out. I was iffy about Nice House on the Lake, just because as much as a horror fan that I am, I've never really felt like horror comics can pull it off very well.
Sure.
Unless it's just like visceral and gross. Like visual stuff, I feel like comics can do that pretty well, but like the actual like, creeping dread kind of feeling, I just feel like movies do that so much better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I don't know that I would expect creeping dread from it.
Well, yeah,
but yeah, it's very, very good.
Okay,
I wrote a fairly gushing review for it for The Beat this week, so check that out too after you read the first issue.
Okay, then I will. Alrighty.
Yeah, you wanna pick a movie for next time?
I suppose I should. So Joe, when we restarted doing the podcast, we made a commitment to each other, and I'm very disappointed to say that we have not held that up.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm concerned.
You should be. We dedicated this podcast to reviewing every Adam Driver movie, and we have not done an Adam Driver movie in quite a while.
Oh my God! You're absolutely right. How did this happen?
I don't know. I mean, the fault is clearly on both of our hands, Sam.
Truly.
But I would like to rectify that with our next movie, if I could.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Also, continuing with our parent string of movies with really long names. This is on Hulu, I believe, and it is called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Okay.
Starring Adam Driver and Jonathan Pryce. Directed by Terry Gilliam.
So this is not Lost in La Mancha.
No.
Okay.
We will probably get into it more, but this is a movie that Terry Gilliam has been trying to make for 20 years. And his initial attempt starred Johnny Depp, and filming lasted maybe a week.
Right.
Before it got completely shut down. And then he finally got to make the movie within the last 2 years or so.
Excellent.
And it is, like I said, on Hulu, as far as I know.
I think you're right. I feel like I've seen it there.
All right. So if you don't object, that is what I'd like to pick.
I have no objection to any movie starring Mr. Adam Driver.
Excellent.
All right.
Alrighty then. Well, we'll do this again, I guess. I don't know.
I guess if you want to, I guess. I mean, do it again next week?
Sure.
All right. Join us, won't you, listeners? Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.